let's open one of the biggest pricks, if not the biggest prick, in the entire Green Lantern Corps. Let's do that. You know what? When they said they were doing this, I got excited. When I seen him, I was even more excited. When I seen that they were doing face plates in a line at this price, I was even more shocked. We are going to mention that problem. I see a problem. But Guy Gardner is awesome. Okay? He's one of those characters that has literally made almost his entire superhero career, his entire personality is being a prick. And he's one of those characters that it like works for. And one of my favorite team-ups ever in Green Lantern history is Guy Gardner and Arquillo. That is one of the best pairings ever. Like, straight up ever. That's so good. It worked so well. It is so ridiculous and so perfect. Absolutely loved it. Fantastic. Like, and one of my favorite scenes in Green Lantern history is when he is captured by Sinestro and his ring runs out of power and the suit goes away. And then he's just naked. It's just naked. And Sinestro is like, oh, what? And he's like, well, the ring gives me my clothes, man. He's like, I woke up and came out here. And he's like, you want to hand me my bag? And he goes, and Sinestro's like, yeah. So he goes over and he grabs his bag and he throws Guy the bag. Guy catches the bag, and Sinestro is under the impression that Guy's going to take out some clothes and get dressed from that bag. Guy unzips the bag, takes a beer out, drops the bag, drinks, chugs that beer naked, crushes the can on his head, and throws it on the ground. And he's like, we gonna do this? Like, you gotta love how ridiculous Guy can be. But my favorite pairing has always been Guy and Arquillo. That all being said, this is the guy I like. I don't like Guy in regular jacket with a G. I don't like when Guy became like that Guardian thing or whatever. I didn't like that. Red Lantern's kind of neat and kind of works for him. But we've seen him change this identity a couple of times over. And it's one of those few times where, like, I know that I just did an entire argument about how comic books really need to be allowed to age and change. Almost every time they have changed Guy, it has been for the worst. Worse. Like, beyond a doubt. No change they have ever done with Guy, aside from this, has ever really worked. For me, anyway. You can like all the things you want to like. Okay? That's not for me. Let's open this guy. Alright. So, there he is. There's Guy Gardner. He's really good looking. Actually, that's a really decent likeness, and we'll be talking about his hair here in a second. But a couple of things. I really like this. This is so good. This is just done so well. I like his body size and everything like that. I think that that's very well done in all actuality. Let's figure out what's going on here with the ball joints. There we go. Mine is just a little... There we go. Fixed. So, Guy, first off, small problem. McFarlane. What are we doing? What's this? McFarlane. Green Lanterns. Fly. I know you can do it. You released the Superman. Multiple of them. With flight stands. If a character flies, McFarlane, and especially if you're going to call something deluxe, flight stand, McFarlane, put your shoes on, go out to the factory, and get them flight stands in the boxes. So, Guy Gardner comes with pointing prick finger. Guy Gardner comes with prick fists. Guy Gardner comes with prick trigger fingers. He comes with a prick light. He comes with 2 prick faces. And prick hair. And because I have to know, okay, because this is one of the biggest things that I've been wondering is, how does this work? Okay, so I can already see it. I don't know if this is any kind of deal breaker. For some people, it could be. But you can see it's pretty good, but you could see it. You see how there's the cut? That's the faceplate. So, unlike multiple heads, faceplates more than likely save him money on production. Instead of having to sculpt completely separate heads, you get a couple of faceplates, you put them on there, it works. But it does come at a cost to the sculpt a little bit. I don't know that that's necessarily bothering me. They kind of worked it into the hairline pretty well. So we're probably going to ignore it, to be fair. But let's see here. His hair just pops off almost literally like a Lego man. Like, literally like a Lego man. And then the head itself, it doesn't really look down. It doesn't look up too well, but it looks up for what it's worth. At any time you want, you could put on his old hooligan hair. I do like that they changed his hair. I do love it. But at the same time, this haircut, man, we know, okay? We're completely aware just how ridiculous that hairstyle is. Well, oh, that was very easy. So it literally just pulls off. Whoop. And so then we can put on the other head. That's the other expression. And then there's another expression. And this is kind of wild now that this is almost disturbing, okay? Let me just say that. We're going to get into this for a second. Do you see this? You see how he's screaming and everything and he's got his tongue? The tongue is in his mouth, like how biology works, It's like kind of like behind your teeth, like in your mouth. But that's his tongue. So when you put another face on him, right? The tongue is actually in his mouth. And it's kind of wild. It works perfectly. But to like stop and think about it, because I mean we don't really do that when it comes to our action figures. We don't really think about it like that. But like, I know that his tongue is like in there behind his face. There's something weird about that. In order to give him that face, they knew that they weren't going to do the faces. They weren't going to do the They weren't going to do head swaps. So they actually had to incorporate him in a way that his tongue would be in the mouth, and the face plates would have to go over it. But each faceplate still had to look good and like convincing, and it does. My only concern, if I'm being perfectly honest, how easy is it to pull these off? I almost wish there was like a magnet or something. 'Cause like, I fear that in time, if you swap those out a lot, will that cause an issue where later on his face just falls off? Like, will we get to a point where his face just falls off? Because I think that's a very real possibility. But if that's all I have to complain about, is that Todd really needs to get off the couch, put his shoes on, and give me a flight stand, and that maybe someday his face may fall off. It's not happening right now, so like, I'll get over it, I guess, is the best I can say. Like, it's not going to bother me that much. I have Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, on the shelf. I think, aside from Simon and Jessica, I now have all main Green Lanterns. Well, I would like to have like Tomorrow and stuff like that. But I'm talking like the main Earth Lanterns. I think I have them all now. I'm missing 2, and I don't 100% know if Jessica's even been made. I know Simon has. I can get Simon. I don't know if Jessica's been made for this line. I'll have to look that up. And if she does exist, I'll have to see if she's already been marked out of my price range. Chances are, right now, she could be. But there we go.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.